Hobbies and Hyperfocus. My name is Pam, and this is a Flosstube, which is a YouTube channel about needlework, in my case, cross-stitch. If you are new here, again, I said my name is Pam. My pronouns are she, her. I live in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, in the middle of Canada, and on Treaty 6 territory in the city of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. This is a channel primarily about cross-stitch, although last episode kind of went down the murder podcast rabbit hole. And I tend to do that because I tend to jump from subject to subject, which is why it's hobbies and hyperfocus. Hyperfocus being part of my ADHD. I'm just trying out new things all the time, trying to get into the flow of this. We're on episode number 19, as you can tell. I don't have yet to have a title for this. I'm filming this on Friday, June 14th. Usually I film on Sundays, but I'm due to go to see the dentist tomorrow to have 2 wisdom teeth and a broken tooth extracted, and I'm not sure how much talking I'm going to be doing this weekend. So I thought I'd do it early because I have something I really want to show, and I've been dying to show somebody who cares. So, not that my coworkers didn't care, but they were like, sure, crossed it, yay. And then I went back on the martyr round. So, again, my name is Pam. This, if you're joining me for the first time, things to note is, we support everyone here. We are a supporter of Palestine. We are a supporter of land back. Trans rights are human rights. All children matter. And again, free Palestine. So if any of those things are not what your cup of tea, feel free. There's lots of other floss tubes out there, and I'm sure you'll find somebody that's right up your alley. So before we get going here, I have my fizzy water because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm on heavy duty antibiotics. We had a cat, but she's gone. We have our needlework, we have our tarot card, we have our notion ready. So let's do this. Okay, I usually start with tarot cards, and today I'm using one of my older decks, which is the Sacred Circle tarot, which I generally use for ritual use or pagan stuff. And this is the Chariot. This is one of my favorite cards of the major arcana, and this card is, thankfully for once this week, in the upright position and not reversed. And here, this card is generally a card of exerting your own willpower over yourself to achieve a goal or to overcome something. And in my case, I think it's just to overcome the upcoming fear of the dentist tomorrow. So, yeah. Exerting your own will over yourself, in this case. So, I keep trying to think how to incorporate shout-outs and community stuff into this, because I'm not super well known and I'm not big, so it often feels kind of weird to go, hey, and I was what? Hey, and a shout out to whoever. I know that some people do that, and I'm trying to incorporate a way to do it. So, some things about notes of the community, I guess we can call that. Salves and stitch along, I don't know. I didn't do anything for my round robin yet this last 2 weeks. Since the last time we saw it, I haven't worked on turquoise and teal. I really need to get back to that, but I have a lot of whips and I want to do a little bit more on the other stuff. I also need to get started on a tarot swap that I signed up for. I've got the pattern, I just need to get my button gear and do it. Another thing to note, since I'll be talking about 2024 Stitch for Pride, these 20 stitches he reached a 40k milestone, and there's a giveaway on, I think it's on his Instagram, might be on his Ko-fi, but I know it's on the Instagram for sure. So I don't know if at this point if it's closed, but go over there and check out these 20 stitches. Also, he has decided to temporarily reopen the Stitch for Pride, or it will be reopening, I'm not sure. I couldn't find the dates when it was open or if it has been open and closed already. But that will be over on their Ko-fi. I will try and put the link in below so you can go check that out, or at least sign up for the newsletter. I'm not really up on all of the new stitch alongs. I know that there's a what is it? Plants in Petrichor, maybe it's that is upcoming for Fine Frog Stitching, and I'm after watching everybody doing the femurs and fungi stitch along, I'm kind of looking into that. In the last couple weeks, I've been shuffling my Patreon around, so I've changed a few levels with the ones that I was with and dropped down to lower levels. But I've also added the Witchy Stitcher, and I'm back with Fine Frog Stitching, and I think it's Stitch Crypt are the three that I'm in right now. I generally try to shuffle them around every once in a while so that I can support more people. Same with my charities and things. Right now my charities are CNIB, which is the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, Dyslexia Canada, because my daughter's dyslexic, and Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders. I feel like I'm at the age now where I can actually give back to the community, and so I'm trying to do that. So anytime that there's any other things that I might be able to contribute to, I like to know. So there's that. So again, I don't always know very much about stuff, but there's always things I want to talk about, and I feel kind of weird keeping notes and stuff. Sorry, I have to shuffle my mouse every once in a while to keep the screen going. And I'm trying to talk louder because I can't get my microphone to work. I need to buy a new one that works with my Mac. So again, if anyone has any suggestions or things that work, if you're a Mac user, if you have any advice for like microphones or something that can help pick up with QuickTime, any kind of editing advice, I'm always up for that, because I'd like to improve my editing skills. I don't generally know a lot about it, and I'm just sort of like learning. So that's all I can think of right now. It feels kind of weird to like talk about other creators in a non-organic way. So I'm just going to go on with the things that are, the thing that I wanted to show everybody. So it's like, ta-da. Okay, we're going to give a little pause here. Put up my little screen. Cat's going to get off the counter. Quit chewing her fingernails. Okay, so hopefully this can be our, ooh, there you go. How do we do this where we're not getting all the glare? Oh, maybe I'll try turning off this light. No. Oh, well, we're gonna have glare on this anyway, and I wish that we didn't, because I really don't know how to do that without. Here we go. Hopefully that can be there. Maybe that can be my thumbnail. I never know how to make it do the thumbnails, so this is Tiger Lily by Nora Corbett, and as you can tell, I've actually had her professionally framed. I mentioned this last time that I was taking her to the framers, and the framer I use is Dandelion Framing here in Saskatoon, and I think they did a really good job. I think maybe I should have been a little bit more bold in my choice of matte. I think the matte would have been good if I would have been something like a little bit, if I would have gone with the orange. Another problem sometimes with going to some of these, to the framer, is that they tend to be a little bit more conservative than I would be. I wanted a bright green, like a bright green, to pull out the green on the frame, but she said like that wouldn't match everything. So I love it, but I think next time I'm going to go with a brighter matte to pop the color. Maybe a little bit bigger of a secondary matte. But yeah, this is, you can see the beads underneath. Yeah, and I do sign, like, so I just have PP, which is my initials, Pamela Patterson, and then I've just put the year 24 in there. And what do other people do? Do you sign your work? Like, when I started stitching, okay, back in the old days, before all these fancy patterns were around, whatever. Back in the old days when I first started stitching, when I was like, I think I started doing fancy ladies when I was 18. And when I first started doing them, I just did them as the pattern suggested. And always the way they suggested, with the suggested fabric on the count, with the DMC and anything that they suggested. And part of that was that I wasn't signing. I wasn't stitching my initials or the year into my pieces. And then I joined, for a while I was part of the needlework, the Royal Needlework Guild here in Saskatoon. And the ladies there were like, well, why don't you ever sign your pieces? What, like put your initials in and the dates. Then you know, if you look back, when you did it. And so then I started doing that. So I used to put all of my initials, which were PMM at that point, and the whole year. So 1996, 2000, whatever, right? And then, as I mentioned before, for a few years, probably about 20 years, almost 20 years, I stopped stitching completely. And so it wasn't a problem. When I came back, I started doing fancy lady stitching, and I put my initials in, and then I noticed that it's not as big of a thing anymore. So I'm not sure if it's de rigueur now. Do we do it? Do we not do it? And I know it's up to whatever you want to do, but I'm not sure if I like it or I don't like it. So I'm just wondering what other people do. Today I have a lot of questions. So again, let's bring it out here. I'm trying to find there we go. Tiger Lily, back from the framer. This is the first piece that I've had done, finally, fully finished, since I started my Flosstube, and this is my 50-year anniversary. I probably should have done it in silver then, since it's the silver anniversary. So, that is the first thing. I'm just gonna carefully put it on the floor, because over the last 2 years, I've had the small human knock down 2 other framed pieces that have been framed for 20 or 25 years and completely destroy them, like the framing. So I'm gonna have to take those for reframing. But yeah, I have to be very careful with the glass. Okay, and in no particular order, works in progress. The ones that I worked on. So, where is my children took my thing again. Where is my foam board? I'm just going to leave this in, because I'm total chaos lately. Okay. This is one that hasn't seen the light of day for a few months. But this is Mermaids of the Seas. Sal. Now this is a Sal by Bella Filipina and Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. And I did have the metallics for some of them. So I'm going to turn the light back on, because now I need the light. So I finished Miss Mermaid down here, except for I'm missing 3215. It's called Peridot. And I have 05, but another question here. If anyone knows the difference between Krynic 3215 and 015, can you let me know? If there is no difference, I have 3 rolls of 015 for different projects, but it calls for 3215, and I'm not sure if there's a difference. So they kind of look the same on some websites and different on others. So anyway, if anyone knows, please let me know. So this mermaid was one I was last on, and I finished her up, which was just her hair, and she has 01, which is silver. I got all the silver in, and I need to do the back stitching, but she needs the 3215 on her. And then I did the border and the names and these little corner border things. There's the corner. I did the corner on all 4 of them. And I started doing the blue, the navy blue, which is I think it's 018. But then I ran out. So I've decided I'm just going to do this one. I'm not going to go through and put it in between the boxes. I might do something else. I might do a fancy stitch in between the boxes, but I haven't decided yet. So I finished. I just need some of the Krynic and the back stitching and the beads on this one. I do need to do all the beads, but I need. You can tell where I ran out of 018. Or yeah, 018. Right there. I ran out right there. As I'm going around my mermaids here. So So I finished up my summer mermaid. So she has the copper in her. That I have to redo that one, but yeah, that broke. It got snagged on something that broke. There's like a little back stitching right here. There's a cat in the way, so I can't really see. So she has just the copper in her. And I finished the corner. And I finished the word summer in the blue. And then I got to about here. And I was going all the way around. And then I ran out of 018. I thought I had enough, but apparently I do need 2. So she does need... She just needs the beads on her. So I might have some of the beads, I might not, but I need the Krynex first. This one is the one who needs the peridot. She also needs peridot. So it's 32.15. Yes, I'm going to. 32.15, and I have 15. 15 would work for her because it is a green, but I didn't get to put in spring, and I didn't finish the border to get there. So she's almost done. All the back stitching on her is done. It's just, I need to know if that's the right green. And then the beads. And then autumn is done except for the beads. So she had 091, which you can't really tell, but it's in the fin here. There it is. You kind of see it. It's like a light yellow, sunshine yellow. And then copper in her hair. So she's ready for beads. And so I'm getting very close on this. And again, this was last year's Mermaids of the Season Sal by Bella Filipina and Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Co. And it's on a Fiberlicious 32 count linen in the colorway Singing in the Rain. And I'm so close. I would love to get this one done. And yeah, I love this. I have discovered, and now we are going to talk about the Flosstubes. So I've been watching a lot of Allison and Stephanie cross-stitching the globe. And part of what they were talking about was the difference between being a process stitcher and being a product stitcher. And I always thought that I was a product stitcher because I was monogamous. I felt that if you were a monogamous stitcher, you obviously must be a product stitcher because you're only doing one at a time. And then I realized, having listened to them, that I am much more like, it's Allison. I'm very much a progress stitcher. A process stitcher, sorry. I'm a process stitcher because, as they defined it, a progress stitcher or process stitcher is somebody who enjoys the process. They like to stitch because they like the product. Not because they necessarily want to put it up on the wall, that they have a goal and a design and a theory and what's going to happen. But they like the process of doing it. So, obviously I'm a process stitcher because I have at least 5 or 6 from before I stopped stitching and a crap ton since after I started stitching again in 2020 that have not been fully finished, that are just sitting in the finished bucket, which is basically a big, I don't know if it's kind of like a Tupperware thing, like a big plastic container that has bags and fully finished, like I wash them, I iron them, I put them away, and they just sit there until I can afford to frame them. I don't necessarily need them all framed, but there are some like Tiger Lily and Pandemics, the Pandemic one, and the ones that I did for my daughters for Christmas last year that were framed, and there are some that I have the goal of framing, but then there are others that the only reason that I did them was because I liked doing them. I liked the process of doing them. And so, yeah, I've discovered that I am definitely a process stitcher. And that has helped me, because I thought the only time you could be a process stitcher was if you had multiple whips and were skipping around and didn't care about ever getting them done. And I think that's a misconception that I had, is it's not the not caring to get if you get them done. It's that you enjoy, how did she put it? You enjoy the pattern, the process of making it. And it doesn't necessarily matter if it ever becomes a fully finished object. Whereas some people, the only projects they do are ones that they know that they are going to frame and put on the wall. Anyway, now I did one day on the Stitch for Pride. This is the March design, Stitch for Pride. I'm a little behind. This one kind of caught me off guard with the coverage of it all. And I'm just doing it on a tea-dyed piece of even weave. I don't even know what count. I bought it a really long time ago, and I then dyed it with tea. And it's a variegated DMC floss. Right now, I don't even know the number of it. I didn't write it down. This, again, is these 20 stitches. It's the March pattern, and it is Stephanie Shih. And she is a artist who is in the queer community, and she does sculptures, mostly of things that you'd find in her home, right? Like sriracha bottle, things like that. I did about 10 rows on this, so that's about that much. And I want to do some more, but again, I have a few things that are due with the round robins and things. So I'm gonna try and put a few, a few rows every week on this, and then try and get caught up, because some of the other patterns are really beautiful as well. I'm doing them all as individual pieces because I didn't get a piece of fabric big enough to do all of them together. And now I'm kind of regretting that. And eventually I might just redo them all. This one's a big one. Takes almost a whole skein of floss. Might redo them all in one sampler. I have done, like January I did on just a white, I think it was a white even weave, and then February I did on the same even weave, but I did it tiny. I did it 1/1 on the even weave. And then again, we're going to go back to cross stitch globe. I know, like on the last episode, their whip parade. I think it was Allison. Now I've got them very confused in my head. One of them was saying that she had a project that she was doing on 40 count linen. It was the first time she'd done 40 count linen. She probably won't do it again. And then there was a comment that in the stitching community right now, there is a whole kind of movement of the smaller it is, the better it is. And it's like, I was thinking about that because at one point there is the whole, the smaller it is, the better it is. So do 40 count, now 46, now 56. And it's like, I feel like I'm not as good of a stitcher because now my eyes can't do that. I can't do that, even with magnification. Okay, sorry, I got interrupted by the husband type person because I was trying to do this quickly before he got home because what was I saying? Because usually I do this on Sundays while everybody's upstairs doing their stuff or outside playing. And today, because I'm having the dental surgery or the extractions tomorrow and might not be able to talk on Sunday, I'm doing it now. So, like I was saying, there was a discussion of the idea currently, or there just seems to be some kind of indication that the smaller than the work, the better of a stitcher you are. And I was thinking about that, and you do start to see that sometimes, and I don't think that a lot of the small stitchers necessarily see it that way. It's just that's how they like to do it, but there is sort of that idea that the smaller it is, the finer the work, the better of a needle worker you are. And that was like, I wonder if that is why I'm pressuring myself to do so many on 40 count. And I mean, I like using 40 count, but I'm also noticing that I'm having a hard time seeing. And even with magnification, sometimes I have a hard time seeing. Okay, because my family is getting antsy. Last time I showed... Oh, I don't even have it up here. September Sapphire Fairy. And I will try and put a picture up here of what it looked like last time I showed it. I had done like a day and a half on it before a day and a half. So one Friday night and one Saturday stitching session. And so I didn't have very much done, but I usually do 5 sessions at a time. So I finished my 5 stitching sessions before I went on to the next project. And this is where I've gotten to. So I've gotten a little bit more of the dress. I'm going down. And now the ribbon thing that's beside her. She's in a dark brown and a dark blue. So yeah. So all the gaps there are going to be beads, I think. And then there's Krynics down here. I have the Krynics on order. This one doesn't call for number 4 braid. This one calls for a blending filament. And I generally, when I did blending filament before, I did blending filament with a carrier thread. So I put a carrier thread, like one, like for a black, like a gunmetal, I put one strand of the brown and then one strand of the blending filament. So I'm not sure, it calls for one strand of blending filament by itself. So down here, they're like a purple holographic kind of thing. I haven't ordered that yet. And there's one Karen Water Lilies, which is like a dark brown, black kind of blue kind of color, it looks like on the website. So this is my Mira, one of my Miras. So that is the September Sapphire Fairy, and that is on a 32 count Lugana, green, blue, and purple. So it's got some blue and some green in it. Much more you can see over here. And I got this at Stitch North, hand dyed by Rolanda. So I did 5 stitching sessions on that one. And the last one that I've worked on is I've done now four sessions of this one, and I did do it a little while ago, so I'll put here it was a teeny tiny start before. Abelonias apple trees. So I did, like before, I think I had up to here, maybe up to here. So it was like just a teeny little start. And now I finished, this is the end of the page. Then I brought the down for the butterfly, and I did the moon, and this last bit I've done is the stars. I think I'm going to put this one away for a little bit because I do want to spend some time on my No Time Like the Present, and there's a few other ones that I want to work on, and so there's Abelonia's apple trees. This one's done on a Roxy Flosstube. What about speculoos? Wait, I have the taggy here. I don't think I ripped it off. I might have. Oh, I did rip it off. Speculoos, I think. Yeah. Speculoos by Roxy Flosstube. And it was a kit that I bought, the fabric, or the pattern and the flosses I bought as a kit at Stitch North. So there we go. Up close and personal. This is a 40 count. There we go. One of these days I will get this right. This is a 40 count. And I do like working on the 40 count. But I find sometimes I struggle. So it goes slower than I want to. So 1/1 on 40 count speculoos with Roxy Flosstube speculoos with Roxy Flosstube floss. Abelonia's apple trees. And those are all the projects that I did some stitching on this last 2 weeks. And the last thing I wanted to mention was in the mail I got some Stitchy Kindness. We had been talking about, again, D20 stitches. Their spring fling, and this I think was last year's spring fling. Anyway, it's this one. And it's, I think it was, let me just check. Doesn't even say what year. But I think it was 2022. This is a 2023 one, I'm pretty sure. The 2024 one was the cats. The catta. The medieval cattas. And the year before was, I don't think it was the bird. That was the bird box, was the other one I have. But I had wanted to do this one because I missed out on the box. I tend to miss out on the box every year because I'm not fast enough. So Michelle Stitchy from Bendy Stitchy, she finished doing the portion of this pattern on her retreat sampler, and she was asking, had anyone not done it? And I said, look, I haven't done it, but if anyone else wanted it, go right ahead and send it to somebody else, because shipping to Canada can be kind of a pain in the butt. But it came in the mail, and she was like, yeah, you mentioned that you wanted to do this, and I sent it to you. So yeah, thank you, Michelle. I do want to do this one, and I put it into my Notion to try and get myself going. So the only other thing is life updates. I've got a cat behind my butt, which is making this very, very difficult. Here we go. Why don't you sit on my lap here? So life updates before I go. Again, I'm having 2 wisdom teeth pulled tomorrow, and one beside it that had a root canal and a cap, and it broke. So I've been in quite a bit of pain and on some hefty antibiotics trying to get that ready so that I can go. I'm not a big fan of the dentist. I'm kind of like a big suck, and I tend to, for years I put off going to the dentist because partially I'm not very fond of the needle. No other needles bother me, just when they come at my face. But partially, it's the whole idea that if I spend money on something like dentistry, granted, I know that this is kind of a nonsense, stupid thing to think, but I grew up where when I needed something like going to the dentist or glasses or something, it was a struggle for my parents to afford it. So I learned kind of that it's very expensive and a luxury, and it's been pointed out to me by many dentists that I have not only insurance from my employer, but I have insurance from my husband's employer. So most years, if I go, I can get $2,000 worth of dental work and I don't pay for it out of pocket. And, I don't really pay that much, considering, like, I think it's like $100 a paycheck, $150 a paycheck for my dental benefits. So I might as well use it, and then I wouldn't be in pain. But I put it off for so many years that now I have, like, a lot of issues with my teeth. And, yeah, I'm kind of really, really nervous about going to the dentist. So I went out and did some retail therapy. I bought some ink. But I'm gonna eventually get like an overhead camera thing so I can like do swatches and things like that. But I got 4 things of ink, and these are, I think, 28. Sorry, can't see. These are 28 ounces, milliliters. They're in milliliters. These are 20 milliliters of ink, and I've got 4 colors. So this one is, they're all from Ferris Wheel Press. So this one is called Billowing Blush, and base is pink with a green gold shimmer. So I will eventually have a swatch book. That's when I can't speak this weekend. That's kind of what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully, if I'm not in too much pain. This one is called, where is this one? It's Knitted Nettle. And it's a dark green base with a red sheen and a pink gold shimmer. Sorry, I have to try and get the back gently in the thing. I got this one, which is called Emerald Garden. It's green on green on green. So this is a green base with red sheen and green and gold. So slightly different than the Knitted Nettle. And the last one I got is called Riveting Pond. This one is a light blue. So you can't really see. It's very shimmery. See, there's the glitter in there. So this one is a light blue base, no sheen, green pink glitter. So I have probably, I have a lot. I have a lot of Ferris Wheel pressing. And now I'm starting to get into ones called Octopus ink, which are heavily shading inks. I am a big fountain pen person, so I really love my fountain pens, I really love inks, and they had a great deal, and I figured I will trick myself into going to the dentist. This is how I trick myself. I have already purchased myself a treat, but because I got the treat before I did the thing, now I have to do the thing. So I will eventually swatch those. I'm hoping this weekend to do that. I don't have an overhead camera, so I don't have a great setup. This is my work computer and my gaming computer because I play World of Warcraft. So yeah, the World of Warcraft and the Excel sheets and things. I don't have a great setup for overhead or anything. I need to clean up my space. That's what I'm going to be doing this summer. I've figured out my work schedule for the most part this summer. I will be working from home starting not next Friday, but the Friday after for a week and a half. Then in the office for 2 weeks and home for half a week, vacation for half a week where I'm going to go to Winnipeg. And I hear in Winnipeg they still have a needlework store. So I know that Samantha from Huiga Stitcher, she does work there or used to work there. I don't know if she's big enough now that she's just a Flosstuber. But yeah, she worked at the place. And I need to look it up because I haven't been able to get to any in-person cross-stitch stores since the Purple Needle, and that place has been gone for, my son is 24, so about 24 years. And even then, like, my husband was not really interested in poking around in all the cross-stitch stuff, so he rushed me through it, and I didn't realize that it was going to be in and out of style and people are going to quit. Also, Darling and Whimsy and Brennan Needle have opened a needlework store in St. John's, not St. John. Unfortunately, it wasn't open when I went in February because they hadn't even thought of that idea, or they hadn't gotten everything done. So there was no needlework shop in St. John's when I went there because everybody goes in February. But check them out. I really want to order some of their stuff. And also, Anna from Anna's Books and Stitches started selling. She started a Patreon and she started selling fabric that she's dyeing. And some of her fabrics are really, really pretty. So check her out. You can check her out on her. I'll link her Flosstube, and her link for her Ko-fi is down there as well, and you can hopefully support Anna and Brennan Needle and Dee, and check out Samantha, who is the Huiga Stitcher, and check out some of my other friends. Helen, who's the Diddy Stitcher, is one of the ones I really like watching, and Sherry, Just So Sherry. We're the same age. She's much more fun than I am. But we're both of the 1974 club. Off the Grid Needlework. Why can I not remember anyone's name today? Probably because it's 5 o'clock on Friday. And I've worked a whole day. And I'm worried about my teeth. But anyway, my brain is just fried, and we're probably going to end it here. And I'll try and link all the people down below. Oh, and cross-stitching the globe, Samantha and Allison, who I talked about quite a bit today. And hopefully this goes well and I don't end up with any complications that I had last time in the more dental work than I need to. And I will be back in 2 weeks around July 1st probably. I'm not going to do any Canadian patriotic stitching because No. I don't get it. But no, I don't really know if there is a lot of patriotic stitching. I like Canada. I don't feel very patriotic about them right now. So we're going to leave it at that. Hopefully I will have more to show you next time. And my husband really wants to discuss supper. Maybe go out for supper tonight because I won't be able to go out on Father's Day with him. And I will see you later. Goodbye.